Hey guys, what's happening? Lex here. Today I'm going to show you how to counter the Graveyard. Now, the Graveyard is a legendary 5 elixir spell that can be placed anywhere in the arena, and if not countered for correctly and quickly, it can completely wreak havoc on your towers as you're seeing right here. So I'm going to show you how to counter this, and you'll be better equipped to take care of the Graveyard when you face it. Alright, first up, our first counter that we can use are the Guards. Now, the Guards are a good counter. They're not the best, but they do take care of the Graveyard pretty decently for 3 elixir. Their shields take some of the hits first, and then they take care of the skeletons as well. Now you see they allow about 400 damage or so, but it's not all bad. You do make a positive elixir trade right there. Next up, probably the best ground counter is the Valkyrie. Now the Valkyrie, you just place her right there in the middle next to your tower, and she will completely shut down the Graveyard, and she will be alive and well for a counter push, which is a great way to, counter that Graveyard and then set up for your counter push as well. Next up, the best air troop would be the minions. Only for 3 elixir, they will completely shut down the Graveyard, not allowing, I don't think, a single hit. So it's a great counter. However, they can be fireballed and they can be arrowed, so watch out that your counter isn't countered. Next up is the Skarmy. Now the thing about the skeleton army is you have to place it early. If you place it after the Graveyard has already spawned lots of skeletons, because of the deploy time, your skeletons will get overrun. So be sure to place it early. It can also be zapped out as well, so watch for that. Next up would have to be the archers. Now the archers, you just place them here at the back side of that Graveyard spell, and they'll sit there and just pick off those skeletons one by one, and they'll be ready for a counter push as well. After that, we've got the goblins, the 3 elixir goblins. The stab goblins, that is. The spear goblins work well too. However, they can just be zapped out, as well as these ones can too if the opponent's level is high enough. But they take care of the Graveyard without question. And next up, even a cloned, or not cloned, but a mirrored Graveyard, clone spell is pretty cool, is the Musketeer. She will set her again at the back of the spell, and she will pick off all of these skeletons. Any kind of range unit you want to place them on the outer part of the spell, with any melee units, you want to place them directly into the spell themselves. Speaking of melee units, up next we've got the Barbarians. Now the Barbarians, even though it's an even elixir trade, 5 for 5, they do completely shut down the Graveyard, as well as, the skeletons are going to get some hits off on them, but it's not going to be much, and those Barbarians are going to be alive and well and ready for your counter push. So it's a great counter that turns into a good push for you. After that, we have the Ice Golem. Now, the Ice Golem is a little bit trickier. You do have to time it just right, and I probably didn't even do that just right here. Wait for just a second for those skeletons to start spawning, drop in your Ice Golem, and they'll be attracted to the Ice Golem and blow up upon death of that Ice Golem. Zap as you need it as well. After that is the Baby Dragon. Now, the Baby Dragon, its attack speed is slower, so it doesn't prevent all damage. However, its splash helps out with that, and it doesn't mitigate almost all of the damage that the Graveyard would be, as well as it's ready for a counter push, and it cannot be fireballed either. Next up is a great counter, the Bomber. Again, you place the Bomber, as with any range unit, on the outside of the spell, and watch him just destroy that Graveyard without question. So it's a great counter, and it's a cheap one as well. He can be fireballed though, watch out. Next up would be the Wizard. Again, even elixir trade, but it does take care of that skeleton army pretty quickly and effectively. So not very many people are using the Wizard, but it is a great spell to use against that. And lastly, we've got the Log. If you don't have any of these counters in your hand, which is probably going to be rare, but if you don't have any of those, you can always log, wait for a little bit for those skeletons to pile up, and then send your Log on through there. Follow it up with a zap if you need to, and that mitigates most of the damage. Now, everybody's saying that the Graveyard spell is overpowered, it needs a nerf, but it's not. Really, if you know how to counter it and effectively, you can shut it down. So this is Lex. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Lex out.